How we doing there, boys and girls? Manthias here and welcome back to another video. So today we're going to talk a little bit about leatherworking, and we're going to talk about how you can make gold with leatherworking. We're going to take this from all angles, whether you are brand new to gold making or whether you're an absolute pro and you just want to milk it for every drop of gold that it's got. We're going to look at leatherworking in some great detail and work out exactly how you can do that. Now, firstly, we do all of our practice for this gold making, and I do most of my gold making live on stream. We stream over on twitch.tv/Manthias. I'll leave a link down in the description. Pop over, hit the follow button, say hi, ask your gold making question, and we'll all have a bit of a laugh. But let's get straight into leatherworking. What do you want to do when you first get leatherworking? Well, of course, you've got to get it leveled up. I'm going to make the assumption for this video that you've at least got your leatherworking leveled up. I've got some other guides on my channel as it stands right now on how to level up leatherworking, so get that done first and foremost. But when you've got it leveled, what are we going to start crafting and how can we start making some gold? Let's look at it from a beginner point of view. What are some of the basic items you should get crafting right away to start making that little bit of gold? Well, we got the leveling gear. You can't avoid the leveling gear. It's a great way to make a little bit of gold. The entry level desolate leather gear and the entry level desolate scale gear, there's an opportunity here for everybody, and that is to change the item level on these bits of gear. My recommendation is actually to drop the item level from default down to item level 87. Yes, 87, using a novice crafter's mark. Novice crafter's marks can be easily made with the profession. They're really nice and cheap, not going to cost you a lot at all, but it's actually the item level 87 variations of the gear that is more likely to sell quickly, and because of that, you're likely to be able to make that little bit more gold out of it. Why is this the case? Well, quite simply, it can be used from level 50. If you take a look through some of these items, the default level requirements for some of them is actually quite a bit above 50. The helm, for example, you have to be level 54 by default. But if you can drop that down to item level 50, a brand new fresh character to Shadowlands can jump to the auction house, buy an entire set of 87 item level gear for their character, and be off to the races nice and quickly. So it's a cool market to be in. If you've done a little bit of grinding out in the moor, you can go one step further and you can start looking at the end game leveling gear per se. The shadow scale gear and the shade bound gear. Both of these, once again, at their default item level is probably not going to be a super hot seller. Item level 151 gear goes for virtually nothing nowadays. The trick to this is to change the item level again. You want to change the item level by using a Crafter's Mark II. This will bump it up to item level 168 and give you the flexibility of charging a little bit more for the item. Simply put, people that ding level 60, you usually hit level 60 with an item level about 130, 140. So once again, being able to go to the auction house, quickly buy an entire set of gear at item level 168 is going to skip a whole bunch of that repetitive early grinding that you have to do through at the beginning. So if you can jump straight to 170, it's a huge benefit. I think 170 is the entry level to LFR, which is why this gear is so attractive to so many. But yes, make some of those gear into throw a Crafter's Mark II on it, make it into a slightly higher item level, and get that stuff on the auction house. What else can we be crafting with leatherworking though? If you're not having much success with the leveling gear, which is understandable, you can start looking at some of the consumables. Leather armor kits. These are really, really helpful. People often gloss over these, but these are a fantastic gold maker, especially the heavy desolate armor kit. The heavy desolate armor kit you won't get by default. You might not have this. If you don't have it, you need to get your butt over to Ardenweld. You need to do some grinding of the Wild Hunt reputation, and once you hit honoured with them, you'll be able to pick this pattern up from the vendor. Simply the fact that it's a reputation bound item means less people on average have the ability to even craft the thing, but these sell really well because of course they are the better of the two. Your desolate armor kit is only going to give you 16 stamina. The heavy variant of it is going to give you 32 stamina. So for those players out there that are in the mindset of min-maxing their stats, they're going to likely pick up some heavy Desolate Armor kits before they go off to raid, before they go off to do their Mythic Pluses. With that in mind, when should you be selling these things? Well, there's a couple of days in the week where selling these is going to be much easier, and you're likely to find that there's a slightly higher price on it. That's going to be Tuesday if you play over on the NA, Wednesday if you play over here in the EU, and of course Friday night, Saturday night is going to be some big days for selling stuff as well. This is all because it coincides with the resets and popular times for people to go out there raiding. So, Shadowlands itself has a whole bunch of items you can be crafting at a beginner level. Getting on board with some of these consumables, these are things that you can sell fast, you can craft them in reasonably large quantities, and more importantly, they're not going to break the bank to craft in the first place. Meaning if you don't manage to sell all of them super quickly, hopefully you won't have to invest too much money to craft these items in the beginning. But what if you're already a bit of a powerhouse? What if you've already made a good chunk of gold and you just want to make a lot more? Well, now we talk about legendaries. The base legendary items are not something that is easy to crack. But if you get into them, you can start making a ludicrous amount of gold with them. My one big piece of advice when it comes to the base legendary items, especially for leatherworking, is start slow. Pick a couple of item slots. Take a look at some of the items on your auction house. See which ones at the ranks that you can make them. You're not going to be able to make rank 4s to begin with. You're going to have to look at rank 1s. See which rank 1s are selling for a reasonable price. Craft a couple. Focus on selling a couple. Don't power level, don't craft 15 of them and dump 15 on the auction house and expect them to sell. The rate in which these legendaries are going to sell, at least currently, is declining as we get closer to patch 9.1. If you happen to be watching this in the future and it's already patch 9.1 or maybe even further ahead, well, firstly, hello, make sure you hit the subscribe button. But secondly, obviously you know more than I do right now. But as it stands currently, the base legendary items, you want to take a slow and steady approach, craft a couple, focus on selling a couple. Make sure you're making even a little bit of profit on each and every one, and those sales you can then reimburse or reinvest the gold that you make from those sales into continuously crafting more and more and more. Eventually, after a week or two's time and a little bit of auction house PvP, you'll get to the point where you've unlocked a couple of rank 4s and will hopefully be able to make a sizable amount of profit with the legendaries, with, I guess for many, the ultimate goal to have all of the rank 4s unlocked and to be able to sell tens of millions every single week. But you've got to start small, start slow, craft a few, sell a few, and you'll do well with the base legendary items. But let's take a look at some items that may not necessarily be Shadowlands specific. There is still some gems hidden in the dirt. We only need to go back 2 expansions. Let's head back to Legion. There are a few items you might want to be crafting from Legion. There are some toys. Toys always sell well. Mounts always sell well. Pets always sell well. Leatherworking actually has access to a couple of toys from past expansions that still to this very day sell reasonably well. Now, of course, you've got to treat them as older items. They're not going to sell anywhere near as fast as the Shadowlands stuff, but they will still sell, and the likelihood is that you'll be able to make a sizable amount of gold on each one that you do sell. The leather love seat, for example, still sells reasonably quickly, certainly in comparison to sort of your average piece of transmog, say, and it still has a really good sell price. The regional average sell price of one of these is over 5,000 gold. If you focus on getting your fell hide at a good price, that 5,000 gold can be virtually entirely profit for you. You're not going to sell a huge amount of them, but, you know, every little helps. There is also the flaming hoop, the leather pet bed, and the leather pet leash. There's a bunch of toys that you should at least have crafted and on the auction house at all times. If you do that, when one sells, you know just to craft another one, and over time, it's a nice steady little income for you. Is there anything else though? Yes, I noted a few of them down. What did I also note down? Ah, yes, Warlords of Draenor. There's a couple of Draenor things. Bags. It's not just tailors that make bags. No, leatherworkers can make bags as well. Leatherworkers make profession-specific bags. We all know that the most commonly available, largest capacity bag right now is the lightless silk pouch. This is a 32 slot bag, but we can do better. We can do bigger. There's a burnished inscription bag that's 36 slots. There's a burnished leather bag that is also 36 slots, and there's a burnished mining bag that is also 36 slots. Now, once again, are these going to sell fantastically quickly? No. But if you craft a few, focus on getting the materials for them relatively cheaply. The burnished leather comes from your garrison, so get back into your garrison, get some burnished leather. It's only going to take you a day or two to get the materials basically for free. Get these up on the auction house, and every time you sell one, it's a bonus. That's what we're looking to do here. We're looking to create a list of items that we can sell, some of them really quickly, some of them slightly slower, and some of them that are sort of long burners, but when they do sell, we make a good amount of gold. This is what the bags are. And finally, there's a couple of things from all the way back in Outlands. In fact, I have to go into the Unlearned tab for these, because some of these I've not even picked up yet myself. I'm still farming some of these, but I know they're good sellers, which is why I'm willing to let you guys know about them as well. There's the styling hats. There's a styling adventure hat, a crimson hat, a jungle hat, and a purple hat. All four of these hats are, or they can be relatively pricey to craft because of the primals that they use. But if you go back and you get the patterns, you can see where you get them from. Even the default UI will tell you where you get them from. You get them from some of the old dungeons in Outlands. They're really low drop chances, so it may take a little bit of farming to get them. But if you do get them, these things tend to sell for a lot. Look at the regional sale average on these items. 14,000 gold is the regional average sale price, which means for a piece of transmog, these are going to be really good earners for you. If you can get the materials at a good price, you don't have to worry about getting the materials too quickly. You can spend a bit of time, get the materials at a cheap price, get these crafted, get them up on the auction house. They sell reasonably well for as transmog goes, but there's loads of gold in them. Loads of gold in them if you can even craft them. So go back into Outlands, run a few of the dungeons, see if you can get your hands on 1 or 2 or 3 or maybe even all 4 of these styling hats from Burning Crusade. Craft them, get them on the auction house. They're good little earners. So there it is. There's the main ways where you can make some gold with leatherworking from all angles. If you're a beginner, start with the smaller stuff. Start with the consumables. If you've got a sizable amount of gold that you're willing to invest to try and make more, maybe look at the base legendary items, but please take it slow. Craft a few, sell a few. That is beyond the best way to do it. But some of you will remember from the start of the video I said that I've got a bonus at the end for those that stick around to make this whole process much easier to get on board with. I've put together some Trade School Master groups. Everybody loves Trade School Master. It's a really good, well, there's a love-hate relationship with Trade School Master. Everybody would love to get up and running with Trade School Master, but it can be a bit of a pain in the ass to get set up. So what I've done is I've put together some groups for you. There's a link down to my Discord. If you're not a member of the Discord, just pop over there. There's a section to the side. There's a bunch of channels called Free Resources. Within there, there's a link to every single one of my TSM groups that thousands of people have used them so far and have found them very helpful. For the purpose of leatherworking, you've got every single item that can be crafted within Shadowlands, and I've made it nice and easy for you to sort of categorize through them. We've got your armor kits, you've got your weapons, you've got the different types of gear, the different types, like so desolate leather, desolate scale, all of that, with every single item already in, ready for you, up and running. So there you go, boys and girls. I hope that's been beneficial to you. I hope that will allow you to take your leatherworker and make a little bit of gold with them. Please remember to hit the like button if you enjoyed this kind of content. Leave your comments on which professions you would like to see next. I will slowly but surely get through all of the professions in the game and give you guys a heads up of exactly how you can make loads of gold with them in Shadowlands. But boys and girls, I've been Manthius. I hope you've enjoyed, and I will catch you next time. Peace.